Hello, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week, get everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock with news the New Zealand dollar is falling hard in the shadow of panic by professional investors on major stock markets. Wall Street is falling sharply again this morning, with the S&P 500 down 9% and falling in mid-afternoon trade. Trading was stopped for 15 minutes in an attempted circuit breaker, but it didn't work. The enormous fiscal stimulus package proposed still isn't in place in the US, with public policy action as confused on the economic front as it is on the infection control front. Bankruptcies of icon companies like Boeing now seem much more likely. The ripple effects will be huge. Overnight, European stock markets fell about 6%. Yesterday it was less in Asia, although closer to home, the ASX 200 fell 6.5%. The NZX 50 Capital Index actually managed a tiny gain on the day, although earlier big rises dissolved as the day closed. You get our daily news coverage free. If you enjoy our coverage, I'm asking you to become a supporter. Do that by either clicking on the black button at the top of every page on our website. The level you support is up to you, but if you're already a supporter, you're our hero. In China, electricity consumption dropped by 8% in the first 2 months of 2020. Changes in China's energy consumption are closely watched as a gauge of the country's economic conditions. Economic activity could contract 10% in the first quarter of 2020, but that now no longer seems out of place in what is going on in major first world countries. But it is clear that slow as it is, many Chinese cities are opening again, with some sense of normality starting to return. However, a Chinese port has closed entry to ships from 9 countries, including Japan, Singapore, the US and Europe, in fear of virus reinfection. New Zealand isn't on that list, but of course ships that service our China trade include all those port calls from countries on their routes. The latest compilation of COVID-19 data is out. The global tally is now 212,000 of officially confirmed cases and rising by the hour now, up 65% in a week. There are now 171,000 cases outside of China, and European cases now exceed the Chinese cases. Of course, it's much worse than that because 86% of the Chinese cases have recovered, whereas the European level is well below 10%. Also rising very fast is the USA, exploding 40% in one day alone. It looks like the Americans have the worst control measures in place of anywhere. The global official death toll now is almost 9,000. In Australia, fear is spreading with rampant stockpiling and confirmed cases rising 25% in a day from a relatively small base. They're now up to 568 cases, and it is in community spread mode there. US Treasury 10-year yield is again much higher today, up almost 34 basis points from yesterday and now at 1.20%. And gold is still yo-yoing, has tumbled to $1,486 an ounce today, a drop of $44. US oil prices have plunged to new depths today, down $7.50 a barrel to just under $20.50 a barrel. And the Brent benchmark is now just under $25 a barrel, and that's a 20-year low. And the Kiwi dollar is starting today sharply lower, down more than 2 cents to 57.6 US cents and a new 11-year low. On the cross rates, however, were little changed at 99.4 Australian cents. Against the euro, we're also sharply lower at 53.2 euro cents. That's more than 1 cent drop and a 10-year low. That means our trade-weighted index is now at 65.1 and also a 10-year low. I'm David Chaston. That was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.